What's up, guys? Since it's the last round, next round, I'm in third in grassroots, but since I may be competing in Pro-Am next year, I think I'm going to try it. My goal is to qualify, and I'm going to set my car up for a shit ton of grip, so I have 200 horse, and everyone range from like 400 to probably even 700 in Pro-Am, so I'm going to be at a huge disadvantage. I just want to prove that I am good enough for Pro-Am. It's just my power and my car setup isn't all the way there. I just need a bigger motor, and I have all the suspension parts and full cage, and my car's done. I just need paint. I can put on my full Type X kit, and that's it. So this video is going to be expanded over a couple of days, and I'm going to take all the camber out of the rear, add some toe in for some forward bite, I think it is, and then maybe toe out in the front so I can have a better turn in to a drift. But yeah, I'm going to try to set my car up. I'm going to do a private event the 25th of September with my car already set up for that. I may put a front sway bar in the front, but I don't know if it fits with my setup because of the swap. But yeah, and then Pro-Am is the 30th and grassroots is the 31st, so 2 straight days of drifting. Pro-Am might be a short day. My goal is just to qualify and maybe beat someone, but the only way I'm going to beat someone is throwing it out in an awesome line and good consistency. But yeah, I don't know. Stay tuned. Back in the day when I didn't drift my 240 and I daily drove it, these are my rear wheels. They're a 255/40/17 on my RPF ones, these ones, which are 18, actually 17 by 9.5 plus 18 or 16 or something like that. But these are 35/40, and look at they're pretty meaty. They're a little stretched, but the only way to fit these wide things on the rear these are like by 8.75, so these aren't aggressive at all, but my RPF ones are a little bit more gangster. So when they were on, they were literally like, I couldn't even get my finger in there. They could like hold a credit card. It was super gangster fitment, but that required me to have negative 2.5 degrees of camber in the rear, which is hard to tell. Maybe my outside wheel. You can tell a little bit, but there is some camber wear. And I didn't want to change it halfway through the season because I'm used to it, and my car doesn't have that much power. So I didn't want to change it to 0 or positive camber, but I'm going to do it for the last round. My goal is to get it to 0.5 degrees of positive camber, so when I hit a bump and it cambers in, it'll camber to 0 instead of like -4, I'm sure what this does. But yeah, so I can get grip there. I actually did install a front sway bar, but it's not working. GK Tech said it would work with any motor swap, but I don't think they have tried it with the 1UZ. You can see right there, let's get some light, there we go. There is some clearance on my oil pan, which is what they market. You can clear any oil pan, which it does, but it doesn't clear my oil filter. This sway bar isn't centered whatsoever. It's pushed over all the way this way as much as possible to clear that. And also, yeah, those are the end links, and they're not even, the end links aren't on there because I literally can't run the setup because it just doesn't work. I may be able to tweak it, but since it's pushed all the way over, this stub right here, look, it barely sticks out. So I kind of hammered that lip a little bit, and I just got fed up with it. It was getting late, and I just didn't mess with it anymore. It may work, but it's just sketchy to have that sway bar be live with that oil filter. I could get a small one or a oil relocation kit, but I really don't want to spend more money on this one UZ. I want to sell it this winter because I want to participate in PROAM next year, and 200 horse to the wheels is probably not going to be competitive, so I need to figure out a motor setup for next year. Hopefully get some companies on board to support me, and maybe we can be competitive and grow companies and grow ourselves on the podium and social media wise. But yeah, that's the goal. So it's Tuesday afternoon after Labor Day, and I got these pretty cool arrow latches, arrow catch latches are pretty cool. They lock. So the reason for these, you have to delete, to participate in PROAM, you have to delete your factory latch, I mean. And if I street park this or park it somewhere where I'm not comfortable with it, I can just have the key and lock it, and no one could steal my $600 motor. But yeah. I was looking for locations to install these. I'm looking for like pre-drilled holes already to make it easy. And these are where these rubber mounts go. Sorry, it's dark. It's right there. And then I realized if I hit something that's like, it's too close. If I hit something, it's just gonna mess that up. I don't know, it just doesn't seem that sturdy. So then I looked further back, and there's a pre-drilled hole there and a pre-drilled hole there, and they're perfect. Like, they're already lined up, so I don't have to do any measuring. Either put a piece of tape on it so it sticks to the top, or don't really care and let it scratch and then drill through. I think they're gonna sit like kind of like that. So that's what it will look like. But yeah, I don't think I'm gonna finish it today. I'm just trying to get an idea of where to put this stuff. About an hour later, or 45 minutes, got it through the hood. Now, these, it's okay if your holes are a little off, because once you do the templates, the hole you have to cut is like this big. So it's already lined up perfectly because I used a perfect hole already measured, an OEM hole on the course report. But yeah, these aren't adjusted at all height wise, but that didn't take very long. And this hood's a piece of shit. I cut a giant ass hole in it because I just wanted cooling. It doesn't match. This carb will match one day, but there's filler on the whole entire hood. So one day, this hood will probably get wrecked one day, but one day I need to get a different hood. You'll see some more Bondo. But yeah, this is for cooling. It works. It's efficient. It actually works. So it's a free, cheap mod that is actually pretty helpful when you're just sitting in line. I haven't been filming because I don't want to make this video way too long, but these freaking hood pins suck. So these hood pins are kind of a bitch because not only is there a huge hole you have to cut in the top, but you also have to cut a huge hole in the bottom that's probably even bigger because you have to get a socket in there with the screws and nuts. It's just crazy. You have to cut so much of the support, and my big ass badass Dremel that would make this look super clean and nice kind of just died on me, so I'm using a little die grinder, but it works. This hood is filled with Bondo, and there's a giant hole in it, and I'm sure I'll go fiberglass, and I'm sure this hood will get destroyed one day. So it doesn't have to be pretty, it just has to be functional to pass, and the top has to be pretty, but the bottom, where the hood's popped, doesn't have to be that beautiful. But yeah, so I'll show you what it looks like. Since I'm grinding, I don't want any metal shavings, or not a shit ton of metal shavings in the engine bay, so I put a piece of thin paper or cardboard down. And there's the hole for one. This one's done. In all the bolts. See, there's very shitty cutout die grinders, and there's all the bolts that you need to get to. You can see how much you have to cut. It's just kind of silly, but it works. If you don't want to go or do this much work, I'd suggest just the little circle ones, because you don't need giant holes like that. So this is cut out, and now I need to like go back half an inch and cut so I can get sockets around the, or can I get the nuts on the back of that? But yeah, these are pretty cool looking, but they're just take a lot of work. Holy crap, I just went to my buddy's shop, and there's a little go-kart track out in the back, and they just let us, we get to drive it. It's a little oval and it has a bank on it, and I'm just so pumped. I didn't even know that I was coming down here to do this, and then the owner of the place just said, yeah, you can do it. And I got Tori, me, and Cole, and we're about to tandem, potentially try to link this oval, and I'm just so excited. Got the back door entrance. Oh, I'm so excited. Got Cole. I'm nervous with this grass though, it's pretty tall. Tori's going for it. It's just a really small oval. It's a little tiny go-kart track, so it's not really meant for drift cars. Left foot braking. Oh, you linked it! They're paddle shifters?
Yeah,
Does that have an e-brake? happened. In the ditch.
Whoa! Whoa! Whoa!
Still one.
So I don't know if I had the final install. There they are. They come with the key, so you can lock it, and people won't be able to get into your engine bay. But you push on the clip, pull it up, little lever pulls out like that, and then the hood can open. I come with little rubber stoppers to keep tension on the hood so it doesn't vibrate and cause these to break or anything like that. Right there and right there. Here's the perfected. You can see how big the hole I cut. So I need two more things to participate in Pro-Am. Got my hood latches, have a cage. So now I need to install a battery cutoff switch in the cowl right here, right there, to have a master cutoff switch, and I need to buy a fire suit, driver suit, and then I can get last place in Pro-Am. So that's just the goal. Just got my 2 LED strips. They're 3M tape. They're just gonna go along the top of the windshield. Pretty simple. Red and black. The rear's got one too. For the rear, I'm just gonna circle around in here, go into the hatch, and then there's wiring for the 3rd brake light up in that corner, so I'll tap right there to get power to the rear, and the rear's gonna be super easy. With the front, I don't know what I'm gonna do. Can either come up through here, drill a hole, come up through this crack, try to get down the window, through here, and then across. There's just a bunch of ways, and I'm not sure exactly the best, cleanest, easiest route yet. But yeah, installing the top LED light bar for the rear, putting it, lining up with that line so it's straight, and then it's a little bit under this, so I'm figuring this whole thing will just like light up. There it is. Wrapping around there. Tucked it under there, and now down we go in there. It got dark, but there's the LED strips installed with the brake lights on, obviously. But yeah, it looks super cool. It almost looks like there's 2 light bars because of the reflection off the wing. But there's just one. Super bright. It's gonna be cool with the front one. Alignment time. Here's the camber. I can fit 2 fingers in there. Let's try and see how many fingers I can fit in after. So I just pulled my 240 on the rack, and these are my specs. I don't know if those are right because the steering wheel might not be straight, but look at that. That's a rear camber. That is so much. That's pretty good. My camber's good in the front, shit in the rear, and the toe is all off. Okay. So we're gonna start with the rear and try to get this to like maybe +1 or +0.5. We'll see. Getting my ass kicked. So I'm heating it up, trying to break it loose. It's really smoky now. Got the rear camber pretty close to 0. It was positive, but I did the front and it changed to negative. But it's okay. I got toe in the rear and toe out in the front. So yeah, should be good. So the car has 0 degrees of camber in the rear. Feels out the wheel well way better. I don't know the offset on these wheels, but they're 18 by 8.75, weird XXR sizes. But yeah. And today's project is my relocated battery. I have like 4-gauge wire, which isn't very thick, so I'm upgrading to 1 or 0, whatever this is. So I feel like this is way better than a thin wire. That to cut through the firewall, and that, and then my car will be Pro-Am ready. Hood pins, cage, all that, just need a motor. Since I'm mounting it up here, I have to take out the blower motor and the heater core. Actually, not the heater core. This is the AC condenser thing in there. But yeah, I gotta take those out. So here's my tiny 4-gauge wire going up through the firewall. And I'm gonna upgrade this wire to that bigger wire. And I'll have to install another one of those firewall pass-throughs. So here's the other firewall pass-through. This spins and you can see how it mounts through the firewall. And I'm gonna be using this hole saw for that. And then I had an extra one. Instead of mounting this on top so it sits, I'm gonna mount it super clean and go underneath and have this smaller hole saw cut a perfect hole so I can come out underneath and it's just this small thing hanging up. And now I have to position it, figure out where I can put it, where I can keep this visible and out of the way of the hood from opening and closing. Right there's my original post that I had, and I just drilled the one in the corner, and for a kill switch that will actually work, I have to get my alternator off this. And I gotta put it on the opposite side, away from these wires, on the opposite side of the kill switch. So I need to get the alternator wire to go out through this one, back around, and through the battery side of my switch. My old setup out of the car. Off the battery, circuit breaker, and then all the way up to the firewall. Finished everything up and my car's officially Pro-Am ready. Hood pins, LED bar that I took this strip off and I came in nice and clean, all hidden. Came down through here and then through the grommet, came back, and the rear LED bar right there comes, tucked it in between the wing, back, down through the grommet. And it's messy in here, I haven't cleaned it up at all, but. So these two plugs right here, the one closest to you is the third brake light that powers the third brake light. The other one is the defrost on the rear window. So right there is where the front bar's tapped into. And the rear, I tapped in up top. goes through that grommet, and that's how you do the LED bars on a 240. Got my circuit breaker right there, going to my battery with that upgraded wire. Comes up dirty, I know I haven't cleaned it all. So that one is the alternator, and the alternator is supposed to go to the same side as the battery. So my battery and alternator share this post, and then everything else is on this post, which is the fuse box and starter gauges. And I also installed a fuel cutoff switch that's for theft purposes, that is on this side of the terminal. So if this trigger is shut off, it will shut the fuel off also. But I'm not going to show you where that is because it's just a theft reason. And so since I put this there, I cannot install the factory blower, AC, and then the heater core. I have an aftermarket one and I'm waiting to install that, but I haven't installed that yet. So drilled a hole, you can see right there. Works like this. I switched to this style because, I'll show you. So this one's really tall and you have to push it and it totally comes off, but it could not turn. It just hit the hood and I didn't really want to cut the hood. So I switched to the low pro style and just flip it real quick. So yeah, LED strips. We'll start it, hit the brakes, and show you how they work. So I'm gonna hit the brake. Turned out super awesome. Let's see if I can hit the brake and show you the rear one. Super cool. Here's the blower motor, AC, and then the heater core is still a huge box that's inside. And like I said, I have to delete both these. And I showed my new heater core in a different video, but you probably didn't see that one, so I'll show you it here. It's really small, simple, and it has a blower motor. So there's 3 huge boxes under the dash, and it's going to be replaced by one small one. So that's probably a lot of weight saving, and it's simple, and it'll just be blown to the windshield so I don't fog up, and that's all I need.